hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
And take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, just relax those eyelids. And if they're not closed already, now is the time to just close your eyes. And as you breathe in a feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, allow tension, stress, and worries to just leave your body. That's it, deeper and deeper relaxed. And I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine that you're somewhere else. I want you to imagine that you are on a tropical island in the middle of an ocean. Imagine the sandy beaches, palm trees, the blue seas surrounding this tropical island. And I want you to imagine that there are two palm trees with a hammock connecting the two palm trees. And I want you to imagine it's the most comfortable hammock that you've ever seen. Just imagine climbing onto that hammock, allowing your body to sink into the hammock. Now, that's it. Feel your body resting, swinging in between those two trees. Get a sense of the lack of gravity, that your whole body is being supported by this hammock in between these two palm trees. And perhaps you can imagine looking up to the sky, seeing the blueness of the sky, perhaps seeing fluffy white clouds. And as you imagine relaxing on that hammock, just imagine going deeper and deeper, relaxed. Just imagine that any stresses, strains, worries, or anxieties are just melting away in the sunshine on that tropical island. That's it. In fact, shortly I'm going to count down from 10 to 1, and you will imagine what it would be like to get deeper and deeper relaxed on that hammock, in between those palm trees, on that tropical island, on that sunny day. Starting to count now, 10. Just imagine the muscles around your eyelids and your eyes going deeper and deeper relaxed. 9. Just imagine any muscles around your forehead or around the back of your head is just again relaxing, allowing any tension to just ease away. 8. Any tension in your neck and your shoulders now. Just imagine, just as an ice cream can melt away on a hot day, I want you to imagine any tension in your neck and your shoulders melting away. Now, that's it. 7. Deeper and deeper relax as you imagine swinging there on that hammock in between those palm trees, arms getting heavier and looser. 6. Now legs getting heavier and looser. 5. Even deeper relax now on that hammock, on that tropical island. That's it. As you breathe, just imagine you can breathe deeper than you normally would. And as you exhale, more of your breath leaves your body. That's it. 4. Deeper and deeper relax. That's it. Deeper and deeper relax now. 3 and 2. Feeling that sensation that you feel just when you're about to yawn. Just imagine what it would be like to yawn there in that hammock on that tropical island. That's it. 2 and 1. And imagine falling asleep on that hammock, between those palm trees, on that tropical island. Just imagine falling asleep now. And just imagine that you're in a dream where you're able to now see yourself fast asleep on that hammock. You're still on the tropical island, but you're now seeing yourself fast asleep there in between those palm trees in that hammock. In fact, you could lift up one of your hands and notice that your whole arm is loose and limp, and as you let it go, it just flops back into the hammock. This is just you dreaming that you're seeing yourself fast asleep on an island. But I want you to imagine that you can explore the island, and somewhere where the beach meets the sea, I want you to see there is a long pier, a wooden pier that takes you from the beach towards the sea. And I want you to imagine walking down the pier. Maybe it's a wooden pier. Maybe you can feel the sensation of the wood underneath your bare feet as you walk down the pier. And the further down the pier that you walk, notice that the water that you can see from the pier is getting deeper and deeper. And I want you to imagine that you go all the way to the end of the pier. And you can't see any boats, but when you get to the end of the pier, I want you to imagine that you can see the top and the entrance of a submarine. Just a small submarine, just enough for one person, but I want you to imagine that the hatch is open for the submarine. And I want you to imagine climbing off the pier into the submarine and then turning the hatch closed so the submarine is all safe and sealed. I want you to imagine that this submarine has a glass window so that you can see the sea under the surface. You know that it's sunny weather and blue skies above the surface of the water, but you're looking at the sea through the window of a submarine. And I want you to imagine that you know how to drive and navigate this submarine. And I want you to do that. I want you to imagine that nearby is an incredible coral reef. And I want you to start moving and navigating this submarine to this incredible coral reef filled with bright coral and incredible fish. Maybe there are large fish that you can see, strange creatures that you've never seen before, but you are safely protected in this submarine. And as you go deeper and deeper from the surface, down, deeper down, towards the lower levels of this coral reef, I want you to imagine that it almost feels like you're going into deeper levels of your subconscious mind, that part of your mind that dreams deep dreams. Just imagine that as you go into the deeper parts of this reef, you're accessing deeper parts of your subconscious mind. And I want you to think, as the submarine goes deeper and deeper below the surface of the water, of a current problem that you're facing. I want you to think of what that challenge is, what that problem is. Don't try and focus on a solution, but just think about what the problem is right now as you're there in the submarine going deeper below the surface of the water down towards the lower levels of this coral reef. I also want you to think about how you think your future will be for you, what you think you'll achieve or accomplish, what you will be in the future, what's possible for you. And I want you to imagine that this is your current idea of what you are capable of. And I want you to notice that as you navigate around the coral reef, eventually you stumble across an old pirate ship. There's a shipwreck at the bottom of the reef. And I want you to imagine that you're able to move the submarine closer to the shipwreck. And you can see it through the glass window. And I want you to imagine that you've got scuba equipment, that there is a hatch enabling you to leave the submarine, and you're able to swim and explore around this old shipwreck of this old pirate ship that perhaps wrecked in a storm, smashed against the coral reef maybe hundreds of years ago. And I want you to imagine now that you're swimming and exploring around the shipwreck until eventually you find a room inside this old pirate ship, and you're able to see an ancient treasure chest. The treasure chest is locked, but I want you to imagine that somewhere in that room is a key, and I want you to imagine finding an ancient gold key. You pick it up, you can feel it in your hands, and I want you to imagine that this key is your ability to solve a problem. And at the point where you open the treasure chest, I want you to imagine that your unconscious mind is finding a solution to whatever your current problem is that you're facing. And I don't know whether or not an idea will come to you straight away, or perhaps in a few hours, whether a solution or an idea will come to you in a dream, or perhaps just as an idea that pops into your head, perhaps in a few days' time. But at the point where you unlock the treasure chest, just know that you're giving a signal to your deep unconscious mind that will give you an idea to solve a problem that you're facing. As you unlock the treasure chest, hear the click, and then open the lid of the treasure chest. And I want you to see incredible jewels and treasure, perhaps gold coins that were made hundreds of years ago. I want you to see diamonds and rubies and emeralds. And I want you to get a sense that this is all of the wealth and riches that you can ever imagine. That this represents financial success for you. And I want you to think of what you would do with this financial success in your life if you had all of these riches, these diamonds, these precious stones, this gold. Imagine what it would do and how it would change your life. What would you do differently? What would be possible for you? And then I want you to notice somewhere in this treasure chest is something that isn't quite gold and isn't quite a diamond or a ruby or an emerald, but there is a precious stone, and this precious stone looks like no other precious stone because it's glowing. Just imagine a colored diamond that is glowing, and this colored stone represents confidence and self-belief. I want you to imagine as you pick up the stone, you can feel the energy in this glowing, precious stone. And imagine the energy transfers from the stone into your body and immediately makes you feel more confident, gives you more self-belief. And I want you to notice that with this confidence and self-belief, an idea is planted in your deep subconscious mind. And that idea is that you are capable of way more than you think is possible. I want you to think back to that idea of your future and what is possible for you, and notice that whatever you thought was accomplishment or achievement suddenly has got bigger, more desirable, that you now see yourself in your future achieving more, being more successful, more generous, more kind, and more influential. See your future as bigger, brighter, more impactful than ever before. And I want you to get a sense that the real treasure is not in the gold or the diamonds or the precious stones. The real treasure is your belief in your own abilities, your belief in what's possible for you to do and achieve. I want you to imagine that you are unlocking a sense of mission, purpose, unlocking your core identity of who you really are and what's your purpose on being in the world. Imagine that you now have that clarity, that you have a real meaning, and that will give your future the ability to be more successful than you ever think is possible. But while you're there, I want you to imagine taking all the gold and all the jewels that you can fit in your pockets or in your hands, and I want you to imagine going back into the submarine, holding on to that gold, the diamonds, the rubies, the sapphires, the emeralds. You're now back in the submarine. But what's more important than all of that jewels and treasure is the new sense of confidence and self-belief that you have in yourself and what it's possible for you to achieve. I want you to imagine that you're now dry and you're in the submarine, and now you're navigating the submarine back to the pier, back to the surface. And as you get to the surface of the water, feel that you're no longer in the deepest levels of your subconscious, but more in that daydream kind of state. Because you can be fully wide awake and still daydream, and that's what we call a light trance. Imagine that you get out of the top of the submarine, climb back onto that pier, walk down the pier, and then find that version of you fast asleep on the hammock between those two palm trees. But notice that this version of you that is walking around the tropical island now is walking a bit taller, with a bit more purpose, with a bit more confidence and a bit more self-esteem, self-assurance, self-belief. The real treasure is not the gold and the diamonds, but your own belief in yourself and your own abilities. I want you to imagine climbing into that version of you fast asleep on the hammock, feeling that your mind is now in that body, fast asleep on the hammock. And then remember that this is just a dream within a dream, and actually you are where you are right now, perhaps in a chair or in a bed, listening to my voice in your ears. Feel that as you breathe in, that breath is in your body right now. I want you to imagine as you wiggle your fingers or your toes, that these are your fingers and your toes in your body right now. And in a few moments' time, I will count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken feeling richer, wealthier, but most importantly, feeling that you will awaken with a new sense of purpose, determination, confidence, and self-belief, believing that your future is destined to be better than you ever thought was possible for you. You will awaken fully in the present, with all parts awakening at exactly the same time, starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.